Welcome to the Intelight tutorial 202. In this tutorial, we're going to explore different ways of inhibiting the flashing yellow arrow from running during different conditions. We're going to use the overlap omit function. Our first example is going to be by pattern. So a flashing yellow arrow is a very nice feature, so people don't have to wait at a left turn if they can proceed safely across the intersection. But at peak times, like at 5 o'clock traffic, we may not want to have that as a permissive. We might want to go to protected operation. So therefore, we're going to try this first. I have a flashing yellow arrow programmed in this database. It's on channel 13, so we're in 1 and 5. Channel 13 is dark. So we have the green arrow up. We've just gone to yellow, so now we have the solid yellow. Now we're in the flashing yellow arrow. So the green output of channel 13 is flashing the yellow arrow. And as it terminates, it will go to back to yellow and back to red. So just to look at the programming to rehearse what we've already done in previous ones is we go to the overlap configuration and we select flashing yellow arrow, the included phase, the modifier phase, and we turn flashing on. And we double check our channel outputs. So we go to channel configuration, and 13 is where overlap 1 is. Okay, so now we're going to program the omit. So we go in and we make sure that we're running a pattern and that we have two different patterns. So in our case, pattern 2 is going to be our peak period pattern, and pattern 1, which is running now, as was running before, has our flashing yellow arrow. So our flashing yellow arrow will be on all the time except when pattern 2 is in effect. So to do this program, we go to User Programs, we give it a description. So we're going to omit flashing yellow arrow by pattern 2. It's a good little description there. We hit apply. Now we're going to go to the logic that we want to put in, and it's really quite simple. We just drop down and we pick overlap omit, and we want to omit overlap 1. And our operator is going to be a logical equal sign. So A equals B, and we will select current pattern. So we will select the current pattern, and then we'll set it equal to pattern number 2. So when the current pattern's 2, the overlap omit is applied, and the flashing yellow arrow will not operate. So we've inhibited or restricted the operation. So at 5 o'clock traffic, we can say we don't want a flashing yellow arrow, we want protected only. So this will be a little safer condition. So we just hit apply on this and we go and we test it. So now all we're going to do is test it. So first we go back and we look and we're running pattern 1. It's in effect. We're going to go and look at our channels, make sure that we have our flashing arrows working just fine. So we'll right click and say add a new window here, and it will come up. And of course I'll have to resize it a little bit to get it so we can see both the phases and the channels. So you notice our flashing yellow arrow is dark when 1 and 5 are up, which it should be. We got the solid green arrow on. We don't need a dual indication. And as 1 and 5 terminate, you go to the solid yellow, and then we go into the flashing yellow arrow. So our flashing yellow arrow is working just fine. So we go into coordination and we'll select pattern 2. So this is our peak period pattern where we don't want the flashing yellow arrow to be in. So we got to go and check and make sure that pattern 2 is in effect, and then we open up our channel status again, so we can reopen that. And we're probably a little late because we're at the end, but it was in effect. So we'll wait until it comes around just so you can see this. So we're in 3 and 7. We need to go to 4 and 8 and come back to 1 and 5. And the way this works is that the yellow and the red are still active, so we don't get the dual indication, but the green output is inhibited. which is tied to the flashing yellow arrow. So we're just going to have a protected arrow when there's lots of people out there, there's lots of congestion levels. We don't want someone trying to shoot a small gap in a dangerous condition. If somebody's in a hurry, rush hour traffic, this makes it a little bit safer for everyone. So as 4 and 8 terminate and come around to 1 and 5, 13 is dark during the protected section, which it should be. And when it goes to yellow, you'll get the solid yellow output, so you can wire either phase 1 or channel 13 to the solid yellow. And after the solid yellow, we got the solid yellow, and it completes, and we go to 2 and 6, and now that overlap green is off. So we've been successful in controlling the overlap. The next one we want to look at is maybe by time of day. We want to be able to control it. So the smallest unit is an action in time of day. So we can set it to the action or an event, but we will just do the action to keep it simple. So if we go into our scheduler, and there's our scheduler, and we go to actions, we can select any one of our actions, and we could map that to our overlap omit. Maybe we'll make it action 3, which happens to be pattern 3. To do that, we simply go back down to our user program. We probably want to change our user program information because it's not by pattern, so we'll say omit flashing yellow arrow by action, and we'll make it action 3. So we hit apply on that, and then we will go to our logic. So we want to remove the current pattern and make it the current action. So the current action, if it's equal to, almost made a mistake here, not action 2, we wanted it to be action 3. So I'll go back up here and change this. So if the current action equals 3, then the overlap omit is applied and the flashing yellow can't start. One of the simplest ways is to use a special function. So we can designate a special function to apply the overlap omit. And I'm just going to show you what the logic is. You can test it yourself a little bit later. So to use this logic by a special function, we'll just go to our definitions, and we want the overlap omit to be applied when special function 1, and I got to find special function 1 and come down a little bit. There it is. And what special function, I can just put any number in. I'll put in 1, and of course, just to clean up my code a little bit, I'll remove the number 1. So whenever special function 1 is applied, which could be by time of day, by free, by pattern, overlap omit will be on. So this is a very simple logic. Just hit apply and you're done. The last one I'd like to show you is by the PED detector. So this is by operational when the PED is in use. So this will be a fun. This conditional omit will be based off of PED service. So when the walk is up, the overlap will be omitted. So we do that by the PED detector call. So we'll say if phase 2 PED is running during the walk, we don't want the flashing yellow arrow to appear. So we just say overlap omit is applied when PED detector 2 is true. So let's take a look at the operation now that we have this detector assigned. So we will go up to our status screens, and nope, we need to go and put the detector on. I could go down and apply it to the phase, but I know that PED detector's input channel 2 is phase 2 PED. So I just somebody went there and hit the button, and there's the call for service, and I'm in 3 and 7s, and of course I want to open up my channel status so I can watch this. When the detector is true, I'm going to have the PED run because it's an actuated PED. So somebody's pushed the button, and what I want them to do is have the ability to get off the sidewalk and into the intersection before the flashing yellow arrow is applied. So I'm going to be looking at channel 13 here for my overlap, and I'm also going to compare it to channel 9, which is the phase 2 PED channel. And I got to wait until 4 and 8 to terminate and go to 1 and 5. So I'm going to look at this channel 9. So when 1 and 5 get completed, the walk will start, but the overlap will not. It'll be inhibited because of my logic. And we wait till 1 and 5 times out here. We'll take a second. So we go to yellow here, and you will see the walk come up on 9. There's our walk signal, and it's counting down. As soon as it goes to flashing don't walk, the flashing yellow arrow appears, so they can proceed across the intersection. Thank you for watching this tutorial with me. You can take this examples and of course expand it to more overlaps and more omits, and there are some other additional logic we can apply, but certainly this will get you started, and it's kind of a fun one to play with. Thanks. Bye.